Hey guys, it's John back with episode 20 of the Corona Files. Hard to believe it's already been episode 20. Of course, coming at you from the shed in 2020 during the coronavirus lockdowns. And of course, we are once again talking about building high-ticket dropshipping businesses, of which I am working through once again at this point in time where we've got more time and it's a great time to start businesses. So in this episode, we're going to change tack a little bit. Up until this point, we've largely been talking about like building new businesses, setting up websites, how do you find the products, how do you find the suppliers for the products and all that sort of thing. But I'm going to change tack, and we're now going to start talking about some of the upcoming episodes. I'm going to intersperse with that website building, business building stuff, talking about the marketing for the high-ticket dropshipping businesses, because you're going to watch me demonstrate this. If you follow along with the Corona Files, you're going to watch me demonstrate this all the way through the marketing process for these businesses once they go live as well. And I start thinking about the marketing I'm going to do and start setting that up while I'm still actually building the websites, uploading products, and doing all of that sort of business. So I'm going to run through a little presentation today, and what I'm going to start doing is introducing some of the concepts to you that I rely on and think through when I'm setting up my marketing. And then in few episodes to come, we're going to start going through some of the actual hands-on elements of the marketing play here that I'm talking about. So while there is going to be I'm going to jump on a little presentation in a second. If you're watching along on video, you'll see that. If you're listening on audio, either live or later, of course, you can go to buildsellgrowrepeat.com/corona-files. And you can get the video and watch along if you want to, but I will try and explain it as much as I can. Now, the reason I want to talk about marketing as well is that, this is something that's super near and dear to my heart. It's very close to my heart. I'm a marketing guy, an e-commerce marketing guy. It's what I love. It's my passion. But I also think in the high-ticket dropshipping space, it's something that's really underdone, i.e. there's a lot of people out there who sell courses about starting these businesses and all that sort of thing. And they really sell the marketing element of it short, which is a huge shame, because what that means is most people who try it aren't really successful because they get a really half-assed view of how you should set these businesses up from the marketing perspective. And it tends to go something like this. Set your website up, put some products on it, and run some Google shopping ads, and she'll be right, mate. That's the marketing play, which is in part true, because Google Shopping is one of the traffic sources that you use with these businesses, and it works very well. But the reality is that's not a marketing strategy. It's not a complete marketing picture. And so I'm going to dive into why just doing that and not going any further than that, or worrying about everything else way later down the track, is a bad idea. So we're going to jump over here. I'm going to share up my screen. I'm going to take you through just a really simple little presentation, so bear with me while I get this up here. So we're going to start with, and this is really where I start thinking about my marketing and what I'm going to do. And we're going to start with this, and it's the customer awareness pyramid. Now, you may or may not have seen this before, or you may not be aware of this. It's basically, if we're looking at it, imagine a pyramid, and that pyramid is broken into segments. And so a pyramid is, of course, larger at the bottom than it is at the top. At the top is where it gets nice and pointy. So there's 5 levels to the customer awareness pyramid. Starting from the bottom and the largest part of the pyramid, we have completely unaware. And the customer awareness pyramid basically represents where all of your potential customers are at some point in their customer journey. So at the bottom, we have customers who are in your market or have the potential to be in your market, but they're unaware that they have the problem that your product solves. And I talked a bit about this in a previous episode of the Corona Files. Of course, what you're really doing when you're selling people products is you're helping them to solve problems, right? So you can have people who have the problem that your product solves, but they're not yet aware of that fact, right? And that's sort of the bottom of the funnel. The next step up, and a slightly smaller chunk of the market, is people who are problem aware. So they're aware of the problem that your products are going to solve. And that's really really the start of the customer journey, of when people start exploring their options, is once they know they have a problem, they start going out and thinking, well, what's the solution to my problem? And of course, that's the next step in the customer awareness pyramid. You have people who become solution aware, right? So let's say that, and I'm going to come back to one of my examples I always use, the surfboard, surfing, etc. Let's say I'm somebody who wants to get into surfing, right? My problem is that I'm really interested in surfing. Maybe I've taken some lessons, I've borrowed somebody else's board, but I don't have my own surfboard. So it's really hard for me to get out every day and go surfing to get better and better and better, and put some practice in, some hours in, eat some shit, and, have a lot of fun. So my problem is I don't have a surfboard. So I'm going to think, well, the solution to my problem is I need to buy a surfboard. So now I'm solution aware, and that's going to then further influence my customer journey and my behavior within that customer journey. Now, the next step up, and each of these segments of the market is getting smaller and smaller as we head, at any one time, as we head to the top of the pyramid. The next step is, of course, I become product aware. So now I know the solution I'm looking for. I want a surfboard. I'm going to start thinking about, well, what sort of surfboard do I want? Right? What type of surfboard? There's all sorts of different shapes, sizes, price points, etc. And my exploration is going to help me narrow that down. I'm going to become product aware. Right? I'm going to say, well, I want a mini mal. I want it to be this size. I want it to be these dimensions, and I'm willing to spend this amount of money. Right? And so now I'm really product aware, and I can move then into the final stage of the customer awareness pyramid, which I call ninja aware. And this is where people are the most aware. They are imminently going to buy something, and that's when they know the exact product they want to buy. And that's when they're at the top of the pyramid. So it's really important to understand this concept of the customer awareness pyramid, because this influences how you do your marketing, and at what traffic what traffic sources you're using to address each step of this pyramid. And so what I want to look at next is sort of just overlaying that, because in marketing and e-commerce, people tend to talk a lot about the funnel, the sales funnel, and that sort of thing, which is a fine concept, but you need to think of these two things together, and really to make sense of the sales funnel, which we know people think of as top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, or tofu, mofu, bofu. You'll hear all these sorts of things. But the funnel, it's a pretty basic concept, because you're not really associating anything about where the customer's actually at and what they're thinking about at each of those steps. So if we look at the top of the funnel, that's really people who are completely unaware they have a problem, and people who are aware that they have a problem. They're still at the top of the funnel. They don't know what product they need to buy. They don't even necessarily know the type of product, the category of product they need to buy. So they're at the top of the funnel, right? The middle of the funnel is people who are solution aware. So they know they need a particular type of funnel, Maybe they do need a type of funnel. They know they need a type of product or a category of product to solve their problem, but they're still exploring, well, what are all the different products within this product type or this category, and what's going to be the right one for me. And then bottom of the funnel is people who might be product aware, or they're ninja aware, i.e. they know what product they want to buy. They might know the exact type, the exact specifications of the product. They may still be deciding exactly which brand to buy, or where they're going to buy that product from, but they know what they need, and they're really close to making that final decision about where they're going to finish that purchase. So this is our market. Now, what you're going to notice is that the bottom of the funnel or the top of the awareness pyramid compared to the bottom of the awareness pyramid is very small. And this is a really important concept to get your head around. The people who are ninja aware, they're at the bottom of the funnel in any market, is generally only about 10% of the total people that can be in the market, for the products within that market, right? So of your total, with your e-commerce business, of your total potential pool of customers, only 10% or less of those at any one time are going to be at the bottom of the funnel. So it's a really small group of people. And this is important to realize, and I'll get to why in a minute. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is omnipresence. Now, if you're following marketing, if you're a student of marketing, you'll have heard a lot of people talking about this lately. And this is obviously a definition of omnipresence from the dictionary, the state of being widespread or constantly encountered. Now, for me in my marketing for e-commerce businesses, this is what I am trying to achieve, right? I want to be omnipresent in the mind of my customers. So I want to be widespread, and I want my customers or my potential customers, both groups, people who haven't bought from me and people who have previously bought from me, to be constantly encountering my business. And so why is that? Why is it important to command the most attention, and how do you do that? Well, it's important because your customers are going through a journey. They're going through the journey of being aware they have a problem to finding the product that they need. And for high ticket products, that can tend to often take a bit more time. It might be measured in a week, it might be measured in 2 weeks, it might be measured in a month, it might be measured in more than a month, right? And so throughout that process, your customers are exploring online. They're looking at different websites. They're consuming information to help them reach the point where they can be ninja aware. And along that process, guess who they're finding? They're starting to get exposure to the e-commerce sites where they might purchase products at the top of the funnel, sorry, at the bottom of the funnel, the top of the pyramid. Particularly as they're going through the problem aware and solution aware stages, they're finding e-commerce businesses. They're getting to know the field. They're getting to know who's out there. And so that's at that point, they're starting to get influenced as to which are the best e-commerce sites that can provide the solution and the product that they're looking for, right? And so they're going around, they're on social media, they're here and there. And so if it's going to be the case that, assuming all things being equal, the e-commerce business they hear from the most, the e-commerce business who helps them the most through that customer journey, has a significantly increased chance of being the business that they buy from when they get to the bottom of the funnel, when they become ninja aware, and when they're ready to get their wallet out, right? So to do that, to get you, so that is why you want that attention. If you are helping your customers when they're at the problem aware stage, or if you're even helping them become aware that they have a problem in the first place, and then you help them work out the solution, and you're with them right through that process, your chance of making sales at the end of it is significantly increased. Now let's contrast that a little bit with where a lot of high ticket dropshippers get stuck. And I'm going to go back to my comments earlier in this episode. A lot of people get told when they start a high ticket dropshipping business, get right in there at the bottom of the funnel and just focus on the bottom of the funnel, serve those Google shopping ads, focus on the bottom of the funnel, and don't worry about the rest of it. Here's a problem with that. Yes, you'll make some sales there, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. You want to be at the bottom of the funnel and you want to be making sales. But the problem is that's the smallest segment of your market. It's a small field. Even, yeah, sure, different niches are different sizes, and in some niches, the bottom of the funnel might contain a lot of people numerically, but it's also the most competitive part of the funnel because that's where everybody thinks the money is. So every e-commerce business that sells the products that you sell is going to be finding people at the bottom of the funnel somehow. And they're going to be in there trying to get that money, right? So if you're coming in at the bottom of the funnel only and the customer has never seen you before, right? They've never seen you before, but they have seen some of your competitors before because your competitors have been with them since they became problem aware or solution aware, and they've been providing them with valuable assistance to get them to the point of sale. There's already a level of trust built up and recognition, whatnot, with those competitors. You come in right at the last minute saying, hey, look at me, I've got exactly the same product for the same price and maybe the same USP because I just copied everyone else. Why is anyone buying from you at that point? What, like literally, this is a very good question. Why are people buying from you right then and there? You're kind of being like the sleazy guy who comes in, sees a good-looking girl or guy on a date with another good-looking girl or guy, and comes up to her at the bar and goes, hey, honey, you want to come home with me? What are the chances? They're pretty slim. You're no better looking. You're not doing anything better than the guy they're already on a date with who they made the decision to go on that date with. And you're coming in and trying to steal the action. Yeah, maybe sometimes it might work, but chances are it's not going to work. And this is the situation that a lot of high-ticket dropshipping business owners find themselves in early in their journey, is they're constantly trying to scrabble for the scraps, basically, because they haven't built up any sort of relationship with customers before they're ready to get their wallet out. And so this is why you want to try and command attention throughout the customer's journey. And to do that with your marketing, you have to serve the whole funnel. Now, that's not to say that in the beginning you shouldn't look at ways that you can get people at the bottom of the funnel, right? I'm not negating the need to go out there, run shopping ads. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. But you need to start doing things that position your business throughout the customer journey, throughout their attention pyramid, and throughout the funnel. And this is how you grow a really, really big business. You've got to do this at some point, and it takes time. So getting in at the bottom of the funnel is quick and dirty and easy, which is why people get you to do it, right? Throw up some pay-per-click ads, you get instant traffic, but it's harder to make sales there in a lot of ways when you're drop shipping. It takes a bit more time to develop some of the things that will help you serve the rest of the funnel. People who are problem aware, people who are solution aware, people who are completely unaware. That takes a little bit more time. And so you should start doing it earlier. You shouldn't wait for 6 months or 12 months to start doing that, because I guarantee you, if you get to that far, you're going to be going, man, I wish I start doing this stuff earlier because I can really feel the pain. And this is where a lot of my students and clients come to me. And this is what they tell me. When I start revealing some of the things they should be doing, they tell me, John, I wish I had been doing this so much earlier, right? Because I'm starting to see the benefits, and it's taking me a lot longer to develop it because I'm further down the track. So how do you serve the whole funnel, right? And you serve the whole funnel in different ways. People who are at the bottom of the funnel, they know what they need. They need to be served specific product recommendations. And there's very broad brush strokes here. We're going to dive into this in more detail in future episodes a bit more. If someone's in the middle of the funnel, they need education around the product options that are before them, and which product is it that is going to provide the best outcome for them, the greatest benefit to them. What is the product that's going to change their life for the better at the highest order? They don't need a specific product recommendation. So if someone's in the middle of the funnel and they don't know, they're still exploring their solutions, there's no point going to them and saying, here's one product which may or may not be the best fit for you. You need to educate them before you get to the one product thing. And if they're at the top of the funnel, so they're problem aware, they're completely unaware, they need problem and solution education, and maybe even entertaining content to help get them familiar with your brand. Once again, if somebody's at the top of the funnel, showing them a product ad for a high ticket product is not going to convert well, right? Because they don't even know that that's the product they need to buy yet, and they don't understand why it's the product they need to buy. So you're jumping the gun by going and offering them an individual product completely out of context for them to buy. And this is why a lot of people struggle with Google shopping ads, particularly because they're targeting top of funnel search terms with a single product. And they wonder why that doesn't convert for them. Well, this is why. It's because the context is wrong. It's disrespecting the customer's journey, where they're at, and what they actually need before they can consider that individual product properly. So if we look at those funnel steps, we break this down a bit further, and we look at which traffic sources are most cost effective for each funnel step, right? And this is going to lead into what I'm going to be delivering. So I'm talking, keep in mind here, of course, I'm talking about high ticket drop shipping sales and marketing. Now, this could be very different to other types of e-commerce, to lower ticket products, and to uniquely branded products where the brand itself is selling a product it manufactures. I'm talking solely in the context of high ticket dropshipping. So if we're at the bottom of the funnel, things that work fantastically well there with Google Shopping, Google search text ads, organic search results, and selling via marketplaces, Amazon's, eBay's, things like this. That's a good place to get bottom of the funnel traffic. People are on those marketplaces searching for individual products, so you may be able to sell your products there. If you're in the middle of the funnel, where we're sort of helping people with product option education, Google Shopping only really works in a limited sense there. Sometimes it does, often it doesn't. It's not profitable to run Google Shopping ads there. Search text ads can work well. SEO, organic search results. Marketplaces, once again, can work. And then you have some of the other options like Google Display Network, YouTube, social media, and working with influencers within your niche. Now, those last few, the Display Network, YouTube, social, these are great ways to deliver information to people, or to find people who are interested in consuming information, content, which is going to educate them about the product options in front of them. So what is a product option type education? Like what might that actually look like? Well, a really basic example is a buyer's guide to a category of products. So, you know, I've got surfboards for sale to somebody who's interested in buying surfboards, but they're still exploring the solution. I could say to them, here's a piece of content that steps you through the different types of surfboards that you could consider, and why each one of those is great, what the pros, the cons are, how to work out which one's right for you. And then following that, I can tell them, once they know a bit more, I can say, well, here's some actual products that you could buy based on what you now know. And at the top of the funnel, problem and solution education, sort of marketing. You know, Google Shopping is really useless up there. It's you know, anything that's directly marketing an individual product, whether it's on Google or on social, is pointless. And so pay-per-click ads become less beneficial at this point, although they do still have a role. So search text ads can work well in limited circumstances. Google Display Network, of course, can work well. Organic search is the biggest, if you ask me, in this space at the top of the funnel. This is the best way, from my perspective, to get the largest amount of top of funnel traffic. YouTube, that's going to work well in some niches and not in others, but if it is a viable thing for you to do, YouTube is fantastic for a top of funnel traffic. Social media, once again, native ads, once again, one that a lot of people in high ticket dropshipping don't really become aware of. And of course, working with influencers to spread your message out there are great ways to get traffic back to your site. And so I want to just reiterate, the number one e-commerce marketing mistake small to medium-sized e-commerce business owners make, and this includes high-ticket dropshipping, but I see this outside of dropshipping as well, is too much focus on only the top or the bottom of the funnel or the customer journey, right? You can't focus in just one place. If you want to build a big e-commerce business, if you want to build an e-commerce business that is stable, that is predictable, and that is profitable, you can't just focus on one element of that. I don't think I really touched on it, but the bottom of the funnel is super competitive. So what you can find is, even if you carve out a space there, you make sales, you're very open, you're very susceptible to competition, you're very susceptible to being disrupted. You're usually going to be at the mercy of pay-per-click ad networks. If your account gets shut down or anything like that, you're screwed, right? Because you haven't developed ways to attract other people to your site. So this is a really big deal. And once again, serving only the bottom of the funnel is dangerous because there's more competition. You're trying to steal attention. You have fewer effective traffic generation options down there, which means that you're at the mercy of the few that you can use. you're more susceptible to traffic cost increases because you're going to be paying for more of that traffic. If the ad costs go up, right, and on high ticket drop shipping, your margins are not going to be massive. You become very susceptible to your marketing becoming unprofitable. And you also don't enjoy the full effect of retargeting or email marketing. Now, these are very powerful marketing tactics, strategies. Email marketing, retargeting. I'm very big, very strong on these things at the moment. They work fantastically well. But if you're only attracting people at the bottom of the funnel when they've made their mind up on the product they want to buy, etc., you don't really have any advantage to develop the relationship with the customer using those traffic sources because they're already close to the point of purchase. So you don't have an opportunity to retarget them for long or to build a relationship with email marketing. So once again, if you take one message away from this episode, to grow a large and or stable e-commerce business, you must serve the whole sales funnel and your customer's journey. So that means that from the start for me, and to bring this back to what I'm actually working on now, what I'm thinking about, and what I'm starting to do some work around for these new businesses that I'm building, I'm starting to focus on developing. I'm going to utilize the following traffic sources for the new businesses that I'm going to be walking you through as part of the Corona Files. So the 2 high-ticket dropshipping businesses we're going to be looking at. For customer attraction, or if you think about it, for getting traffic onto my website, and this is just initially, there will be a few other things I add into the mix down the track. We're going to be using Google Shopping ads, search text ads, display ads, search engine optimization, content marketing, which are kind of tied together, SEO and content marketing, but that's, of course, getting traffic from organic sources. And like, this is a big one for me. This is what I'm really passionate about at the moment. And you need to start working on it immediately. There's even groundwork that you need to do on this to make it effective before your business even opens. I'm going to walk you through how to do some of those things. And then finally, Facebook and Instagram ads. They're not going to be a major traffic source for me initially, but I am going to start using them at a fairly low level early in the piece with these businesses. Now, for attention retention, there's a bit of a funny play on words. So once I've used those traffic sources for customer attraction, I want to hold people's attention until they're ready to buy. And so for that, I'm going to use Google remarketing ads on the display network primarily, but potentially YouTube and a couple of other options. I'm going to use Facebook retargeting ads, Facebook/Instagram, that should be. And I'm going to use email marketing. So I love to build an email list for my businesses. So as part of my customer attraction, I'm doing content marketing. I'm bringing people to my site around content. And while they're on the site consuming content, I want to grab their email addresses so I can get them on my email list and start to continue to market to them until they're ready to buy something. So I'm going to be setting that up early on. I'm going to be working on building that list early on. Building a big email list takes time. If you wait to start doing email until you're 12 months into your business, trust me, and I found this with my first business, I got 12 months in and I was like, oh man, I wish I had a big email list, because it's a fantastic way to generate sales when you need to, right? And it's still as good as it always has been. And then I also want to focus on ways that I can build relationships. So the story doesn't end when somebody buys from me for the first time. I want them to buy a second time and a third time and a fourth time, right? Now I need to start building that out. So to build those relationships, I use email marketing, SMS marketing, and Facebook Messenger marketing. So once again, very early when I'm setting up my business, I'm starting to think about planning these things out and what am I going to do to make these things viable, as my business grows. As I start to get customers in the door, which, of course, I'm aiming to do that almost immediately, I want to start having something in place to get them to buy from me again, because repeat business is like the secret sauce of e-commerce, right? If you have repeat business, there's more profit in the second and third sales. There's less customer acquisition to no customer acquisition cost. And so you want to start, there's no time more important to do that than early on in your business. You want the most profitable sales. You need profitable sales then to sustain your business and to give you something to grow off the back of. So this is really the big picture of what I'm going to be working on. And what if you're working on one of these businesses, even if you're 12 months in or 24 months in, if you look at this and there's things here you aren't doing, then you're missing out big time. And I want to stress the importance for high-ticket dropshipping stores of good organic search traffic. Significantly, for me, more important than paid traffic at this point. And looking at some of the biggest high-ticket dropshipping businesses that I've seen, a significant amount of their traffic is coming from organic search. It's not coming from paid ads, right? And this is something that I think everybody is missing in the courses that are out there on how to start one of these businesses, is that the focus is always on paid traffic. And I know why that is, but the reality is that's not what builds a big high-ticket dropshipping business. So, thanks for checking this one out. I'm going to come back in here now, and we're going to give over. And of course, if you want to get the recordings of this, as I mentioned earlier, go to buildsellgrowrepeat.com/corona-files. And thanks for checking it out. I'll be back in with you again with the next episode tomorrow. Until then, take care.